Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to Magical Storytelling Adventure with Kinder Junction. Today I have a classic tale to share with you all, the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Are you ready to embark on this enchanting journey with me? Let's dive in. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled at the edge of a deep, dark forest, there lived a sweet little girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She was adored by all who knew her, especially for a vibrant red hooded cloak she wore, which her grandmother had lovingly made for her. One day, Little Red's mother called into the kitchen with a basket filled with goodies. Little Red, her mother said with a warm smile, I need you to take this basket of goodies to your young grandmother's house. She feeling under the weather and I thought these treats might cheer her up. But remember, stay on the path and don't talk to strangers. Little Red promised to obey her mother's instruction and set off on her journey through the forest. As she skipped along the winding path, she could not help but admire the beauty of woods around her, birds singing melodious tunes, and colorful swayed in the gentle breeze. However, Little Red was not alone in the forest. Unbeknownst to her, a cunning wolf lurked in the shadows, watching her every move with hungry eyes. When he saw Little Red, a wicked grin spread across his face, and he hatched a plan to deceive her. Good day, Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf said, stepping out from behind a tree. Where are you off to on this fine morning? I'm on my way to visit my grandmother, Little Red replied cheerfully. She lives on the other side of the forest, and I am bringing her some goodies to make her feel better. The wolf's eyes gleamed with mischief as he thought of a cunning scheme. Why don't you take the scenic route through the woods? He suggested. It's much quicker and you will reach your grandmother's house in no time. Innocent and trusting Little Red agreed to the wolf's suggestion and veered off the main path into the heart of the forest. As she wandered deeper into the woods, the trees grew denser and the shadows get longer. Meanwhile, the wolf raced ahead through the underbrush, his hunger driving him forward. He reached Little Red's grandmother's house before she did and devised a plan to trick the old lady. Knocking on the door, the wolf disguised his voice to sound like Little Red. Grandmothers, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I have bought you some goodies to make you feel better, he called out. Unsuspecting, the grandmother opened the door and welcomed the wolf inside. But before she could realize the danger, the cunning predator pounced, devouring her in one swift gulp. Minutes later, Little Red arrived at her grandmother's house and knocked on the door. Grandmother, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I am here with some goodies for you, she called out. The wolf, now disgusted as the grandmother, wanted Little Red inside with a crooked smile. Come in, my dear, he said, his voice strangely gruff. Little Red entered the dimly lit cottage. She noticed her something peculiar about her grandmother. Grandmother, what big ears you have, she exclaimed. All the better to hear you with, my dear, the wolf replied. His eyes gleamed with hunger. And grandmother, what big eyes you have, Little Red continued, growing more suspicious by the moment. All the better to see you with, my dear, the wolf said, licking his lips in anticipation. And grandmother, what big teeth you have, Little Red exclaimed. Finally, realizing the truth, all the better to eat you with, the wolf roared, lunging forward to devour Little Red. But before he could reach her, a brave woodsman burst into the cottage. brandishing his axe. With a swift swing, the woodsman struck the wolf down, rescuing Little Red from certain doom. Together they freed the grandmother from wolf's belly, and the three of them celebrated their narrow escape. From that day onward, Little Red's Riding Hood learned to be wary of strangers and always heed her mother's warning. And as for the wolf, he was never seen in the forest again. Cunning schemes thwarted by the bravery of a little girl and a kind-hearted woodsman. And so, with heart of full gratitude and lessons learned, Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoy these storytelling sessions based on Little Red Riding Hood. Friends, next time we will see a new adventure story.